Hey, what's going on out there in the social media world? This is the Political Brown Kid here. And I just wanted to say this because I want to make this video because again, as my domestic situation has changed to now single, um again, I didn't know anything about this red pill stuff, about Kevin Sam. I didn't know anything about any of this as a married person. Now that I've been single, like in October of 2022, actually October 2022, I got exposed to, I think, red pill and Kevin Samuels and that type of environment. And then, of course, watching the thousands of hours of those videos, you got exposed to the other side. And then also even that term passport bros, never heard that. So then I got those videos started popping up. And then I got videos from the females, the anti um, black male, black female videos where black females are bashing black males. And then the red pills and all of this stuff just going on. But there's one thing that and I agree with a lot of things that the red pill community was saying. Um, but there's some things that they insinuate that I don't agree with, and that's what I want to touch on right now. I just want to touch on what I disagree with, and you can provide your thoughts and comments on it, hopefully in the comment section. The thing that I disagree with is, I hear this term, and again, I never heard this term until October 2022. I know you guys are saying, where have you been? I was married, now I wasn't. I've heard this term hitting the wall, and women, when they hit the wall, they're going to be lonely. And then I'm hearing, women do need men, and all these women that claim they don't need men, or modern women that claim they don't need men, they actually do. And, they're just psyching themselves out. And they're going to die with cats and dogs and all this other stuff. And it almost sounds like a scare tactic. And I'm going to be honest, I don't agree with those comments. I don't think that women need men. I really don't. Not long term, not in the traditional sense. Let me add this. Not in the traditional sense that they need to be married to a man. Don't believe it. And the reason why I say that is this. I think women needed men traditionally for protection, provision, and for pleasure. And I think that all three of those things they've now tweaked in 2022, 2020, well, really in the 21st century. They've all tweaked this thing. And I'll say vice versa, or versa vice. Men don't really need women in the traditional sense of marriage in long-term relationships. We don't need each other anymore. So I disagree with the red pill community that women need men, but I also agree that, or I also state that men don't need women as well. And so let's go through these three things of provision, protection, and pleasure. So let's look at it from a provision perspective. When you're looking at a man being a provider, you're looking at him being a provider in the sense that he's providing, um, typically he's providing a salary for the household. And he's also providing, things of the nature of cutting the grass, fixing the plumbing, fixing the roof, fixing things around the house. You looked at it from those traditional senses. That's what the providing is. I'm not adding protection into that provision because that's its own separate category. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Traditionally, women did need men for that. Because back in the day, women didn't, number one, women really couldn't hold jobs. So our grandparents, those people that came before the baby boomers, before the nameless generation, so those people that were in the 1900s, that were born in like 1920s, 1930s, or 1910s, they needed that because women were not really, they didn't have the, the means to financially support themselves. But the woman today, they do have the means to support themselves financially. A lot of women make just as much as a man, if not more. And even if they don't make more than a man, they make enough to support themselves and get their own spot and have it. whether it's a little 1 bedroom condo or whether it's a single family, 5,000 single family square foot home. They can support themselves financially. So they don't need a man for money. When you're talking about provision, providing financially, when you talk about providing as far as cutting the grass, clean, cutting the grass, fixing the plumbing, and doing so forth, now that women are making money, they don't need that. Because again, when I was married, we outsourced all of that. We got into argument. We had those traditional roles when we first got married. We had those traditional roles of I do the cutting of the grass and I do this, that, and the third. You do the laundry, you do the dishes, and, boom, 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 and you cook. But occasionally I cooked and I did the laundry. Or I cooked and I because I would, cook out on the grill during the summer times and even during the winter. Sometimes I felt like cooking out. I'm the one on that grill. So I would be doing like the meats and proteins. And then she would get in and, cook like the sides. Or I'd do it all if we were just doing hot dogs and beans and stuff. But it got to a point at one point where, we had an argument about the duties where it was just, I just got to the point where I said, well, bump it. Let's just, outsource all of this. Get a maid, come in here twice a month and we get along a landscaping crew and let's just be done with it. Argument, problem solved. And we were financially able to do so. And you look at women today, everybody has a maid service. I look at my neighborhood and that's all you see. These maid services are raking up because everybody is outsourcing the stuff that they don't want to do. So women who now you're financially secure, you can pay for your own bills. And now if something breaks down in your condo, and that's why people are moving in the condo, like you'll see a lot of women, they either have a townhouse or they have a condo because they like, I don't want to have to do anything. I don't need a single family because I'm not cutting this grass. And if they do have a yard, they're outsourcing that work. And they outsource, and if something needs to be fixed with the plumbing and so forth, they get it done. Now I'll admit on Kevin Samuel show, a lot of them they don't know how to change the the smoke detector, but I see that in some men's house. That's trifling, some trifling dude's house. So that takes the provision off of the table. So you can see how a woman doesn't need a man to provide because she's providing for herself. So now let's look at it from the protection aspect of it. Yeah, you could say back in the day a woman needed a man for protection, but today, and of course I'm going to focus on the black community, but this isn't exclusive to the black community. But the reason why I'm pointing specifically right now to the black community is because where I'm from, and you can even go online and look at the statistics. Like when I used to go into my local gun shop, because I'm not an avid gun person, but you know, I own those type of I own guns and stuff just because I want to have the same protections that other people in the streets have. But when you go to a gun store lately, you'll see a lot of black females. And the reason why I'm bringing them up is because white females have always been into guns. Let's just be honest. Let's be clear in that. Especially if you know people in the South, they have always been into guns. That's what they do. They hunt. They do it all. But black females have picked up on that. And they are, and if you look at the numbers, there are the increase. Their numbers as far as getting registered for open carry or concealed carry. Their numbers have skyrocketed. So they don't really need us for protection. And there was some video online where these two black females in Atlanta, I guess they were going to her apartment and they were about to be robbed by two other black females. And they opened fire in the middle of the hallway and scared the females off. So they really don't need us for protection because they're carrying their own protections. So they don't really need us for that. And nowadays, everybody can carry a gun. You don't really need anybody for, I guess they feel comfortable enough that they can protect themselves. And the third point, and when you talk about pleasure, listen, everything is on demand now. Again, they're making their own money. You're even hearing about women taking trips and that they're getting their boy toys. Just like men are leaving and going down to the DR and Brazil and all of these places. and getting these females. Women are taking these sex trips too. They're doing it. I'm hearing white females are doing it in Africa. They're going to Africa having these excursions. But these females are doing it just as well. Or females even don't even have to pay for it. Because like I said, these guys from the red pill are trying to make it seem like these females are hitting a wall once they get 40 and 50. Should I just saw a video online today that just it was, matter of fact, I think it was a white female. She was 55, I think. And they were talking about how she has an OnlyFans page making $600,000. She's made $600,000 in 2 years. Now again, that's OnlyFans, but it goes to show you that there are guys willing to pay money for a 55-year-old woman. And 55 today isn't 55 like it was 20 years ago. And I'm not trying to pump these women up because, y'all have a lot of issues that I'm going to make videos about. But I'm just making the case that I think people don't need each other anymore. Either you can, you get your sex on demand, or you watch on demand porn. They sell, you can turn on the TV early in the morning. They got infomercials selling female sex toys on open local channels. If you turn on the TV early enough in the morning or late enough at night, you'll see it. So they have all of these different kind of toys that women are using. Now it's the rose. It used to be the beavers and the rockets and the rabbits. Now it's the little rose. But they're selling this stuff. And so you can get your on-demand pleasure and you can pleasure yourself. And not only that, a female, again, like I said, a female can walk out her house in some sweatpants, some old dusty Uggs, and a bonnet on her head, and she's going to get solicited from the time she walks out her door to the time she walks into the grocery store to the time she comes home. She's going to get those solicitations. Guys, we don't get that. We don't get that. We don't get that type of treatment. We have to be dressed to the nine, and we have to put ourselves out there in the club. Our stuff has to be on point in order for us to probably even get one conversation. But females know that they can get this. So what I'm trying to say is that when you're looking at a female who's 45 years of age, she's already had her one or two kids, or she's had her kids, so her shop's closed. So she has the kids, so she's not trying to have any more kids. Usually when a female wants, a nuclear family, or she wants children, that's when she's probably desperate. But if a female already has her children and her shop's closed, then she's not trying to really get married. She's set in her ways. She's 40, she's 50. She's set in her ways. She's probably happy living by herself. She just wants a man come in there periodically, do what he does, make her feel good, like Halle Berry said to Billy Bob Thornton, make her feel good and then leave. And then she can have her space back, not have to look at him, can sit in her house, do whatever it is, and be comfortable. And then she'll see him again in a couple of days. She go over his house, or he come over there, and she can get on-demand sex. And then she hangs out with her girls, and then she has her kids to love her. For men, it's a lot different. We don't have that luxury. But that's the one thing that I disagree with the red pill community about is that whole hitting of the wall, and women really need a man, and once they hit the wall, it's over for them. So that's the only thing that I probably disagree with them about. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Definitely put a comment in the section. I love to have these debates and get other people in on the debates as well. Like the video, definitely subscribe, because that helps me to deliver, motivates me to deliver information. Information is power, especially for my black people, for us Nubians. We need to get proper knowledge, and I'm here to give it to you. So this is the Political Brown Kid. I'm out.